Well, our weed of the week is one of the fun ones out there. It's Field Pennycress, and I don't know how many people ask me every year about how do you kill pennycress in this crop, or how do you kill it in this crop, or in my garden.
Well, the garden, the tree belt, that's where I hear it most.
Well, here's why I hear it so much, because it's one of the first ones that you see in the spring.
Yeah.
Pennycress gets out there, gets an early start, and it can be pretty good size by the time...
Well, it's because it's a winter annual, so a lot of times that's coming up in the fall. It doesn't always have to come up in the fall, but a lot of times it's coming up in the fall. So it's big by the time we get to spring.
Okay, here's the thing with Field Pennycress. It really stinks, literally. It smells bad. And that's one of the things that a lot of people know, especially if you're a big alfalfa producer. If you grew up in alfalfa, and we had some alfalfa when we were kids, and Dad would say, oh man, there's a little bit of pennycress over here. Can you go pull that out? And it does kind of smell bad. So I don't really like pennycress for that reason. The other thing is, it's a pretty good yield robber too. Like Brian said, when it gets that start in the fall and comes up really early in the spring and gets some good size to it, the root system is well developed. So you definitely want to take out pennycress. Don't wait. Don't say, oh, I'm going to get all done with my planting, then I'm going to go spray the pennycress. Please don't do that. That's a big mistake. You want to get out there early. Like in alfalfa, for example, generally your best options are something like Pursuit or Raptor. They do a pretty nice job out there. You also have the choice of spraying some Buctril. I like to spike that Buctril with just a little bit of Butarac, maybe an ounce or two of Butarac with it, and that really heats it up, and you actually can do a decent job on pennycress, but I still prefer the Pursuit or Raptor. How about in corn?
You can use Roundup, but you need a pretty high rate, so a lot of times I would just suggest throwing some Status in with the Roundup. That will knock it out. In soybeans, you got to go straight Roundup at a high rate.
Well, in wheat, there's a few different products that you could use. I really like Huskie with that little bit of Buctril in there and some MCP ester in that mix. I kind of like that. I think Huskie is going to be a real good product for us.
Okay, let's get to where I hear most of the problems, and that is in the shelter belt. Guys say, what can I do in the shelter belt? Well, that was my first experience with pennycress too. Just use a real high rate of 2,4-D. Also, make sure you do it early in the spring or late in the fall, because if you are using a real high rate of 2,4-D and you get a little drift, you may knock some of the leaves off your trees. You probably won't kill the trees, but you might knock some leaves off, and you might kill your wife's flowers if you're nearby.
Okay, now if you're in a shelter belt, though, be very careful if you have some evergreen trees out there. You've got some of those trees with those fine little needles. You can really ding them up in the spring. They're very sensitive to 2,4-D, so do be cautious about wind, but you can get pennycress under control with 2,4-D in trees too.
Well, once again, our weed of the week is Field Pennycress. Stay tuned, there's more Ag PhD to come right after this.